Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators in this incredible community. And one of the things that the Spokane Sangha does that's unique to Recovery Dharma is we take a Buddhist practice or principle and we explore it for a month. And so for the month of December, we are exploring something called the Kataro Mahabhutani. And this means the elements: earth, air, fire, water, ether in the Buddhist practice. For that fifth element, I call it mystery, or you can also refer to it as space. It's sort of this unknown notion in which we're all swirling about. And so this week we've been talking about earth, and we've heard beautiful, beautiful meditations from our other facilitators, Josh and John. I'd like to begin our practice today with a sentiment of metta, loving kindness. This is the painting painted by one of our community members. And this one reads, "May you offer yourself the gift of time and space." May you offer yourself the gift of time and space. Arrive fully to your practice, friends. This time of self-reflection, stillness, quiet, slowing down. Take a moment to get in touch with your body, see what your body wants. Maybe your body would like to lie down, and I would encourage you to do so. Maybe your body feels kind of edgy and twitchy, and movement would feel a little bit more true. If that's you today, go ahead and turn your video off and feel free to wiggle and jiggle, move around, water your plants, organize your sock drawer, fold your laundry, cook yourself some good food, whatever you need to do. Go for a walk, even. However your body wants to be that, and then intentionally allow your body a moment to simply breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Earlier this week, as we have been exploring the element of earth, our facilitator Josh brought forward the ancientness of earth, the reality that we are all constellations of various atoms arranged ever so slightly differently to create these unique bodies, these unique clay figures. All of us, each of us, have evolved from a very ancient, billions of years old primordial soup. And here we are, clay embodied consciousness with the capacity to evaluate and explore consciousness. It's quite precious and miraculous. Said in a much more simplified way, we are the earth. Everything that makes up the earth, we are too, just arranged slightly differently. And so the ancients knew, the Buddha knew that in order to get in touch with oneself, it helps to get in touch with the earth. And you can take that literally. Go out and touch nature, go for a walk, lean against a tree, tend to your plants, but it's also figuratively, it's poetic. It's a way of tickling your imagination to consider how the earth reflects you and you reflect the earth. What I'd like to share with you today is a practice that has served me very well as I've contemplated the elements. And that is to think about various environments of earth, landscapes, and then assign an emotion to them. Today, as I was greeting everybody, one of our beloved Sangha members mentioned that the forest is a happy place. And by taking a moment to reflect on that, to think about that, what are the conditions of a forest that bring a sense of well-being, happiness, joy? That's the question. That's the curiosity. That's one way we can use the element of earth to get in touch with our own emotionality. What is your happy place? And why is that happy for you? You may find that a single landscape can represent multiple emotions. For example, I absolutely love to go to the sea. I love to listen to the roar of the ocean. I love to watch the ocean. There's something so mysterious there. I love to feel the sand. I love to recognize that the water and the earth at the level of the seashore is actually an ancient conversation. And so when I go to the ocean and I listen, there's a part of me that feels kind of sneaky, like I'm being a voyeur, eavesdropping on this ancient conversation. And there's another part of me that feels fully welcome to be a part of it, listening deeply. I feel immense joy when I'm at the ocean. I also notice there are times where I've been at the sea where I feel a deep sorrow kind of rise up. It's not always clear, it's not always specific to an event or a past trauma. It's more like an overarching and overwhelming feeling. And it's not so overwhelming, really. That might be a bit of an inflation. It's just a sensation that comes up, but it doesn't always feel entirely clear. I think sometimes I feel sorrow or I allow sorrow to arise because I know that the sea and its saline composition is the same as my own tears. And so I think the sea gives me permission to weep for reasons that I'm not always clear about. This morning, I encountered a new emotion as I was contemplating my relationship to the sand on a seashore. And that is the emotion of shame. Shame arose for me today. And it was very specific to an event that happened yesterday. And I'd like to share with you my process of how I work with this emotion, how I work with this landscape, and how it serves me as a teacher of discernment and wisdom. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with my son, who is very excited about the holidays. He loves Christmas, he loves to decorate. It really brings out his inner child. He's 24. And he was telling me yesterday that he has a friend that's coming over, and he was really hoping that all the decorating would be done and we could put away all the boxes and just have everything set up and twinkling and festive and beautiful. And so, as he was talking about it with a degree of enthusiasm, I was feeling something very different. I was feeling, ugh, I'm so over it, you guys. Like, I'm so done with the decorating. This year, for some reason, if we didn't pull out any decorations, I would be fine with it. And so, as I was listening to him and I was feeling all uggy about it, I responded to his enthusiasm. I responded to his request with resistance. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go through all the stuff. And I could see him before my eyes begin to deflate. So, and I started to feel bad about that. But I was so stuck in my own resistance that I didn't know what to do. So I went to bed and I slept on it. And this morning I woke up really early thinking about it. It was the first thought that came to my mind. And I thought, why am I so resistant? Look at that, Julia. Would you look at that? All this resistance. You don't want to decorate something you've always loved to do. Why? Why don't you want to do this year? And the answer isn't clear. I don't actually know. And I may never know. That's the mystery. That's the space. I don't have to know. I just know that I have some resistance. It's not clear, and there it is. What else is going on? Because I was feeling very sour and sad. And I realized the other emotion that was coming forward was shame. I was ashamed of myself for the way that I spoke to my son. It wasn't mean. But it was out of alignment with who I want to be. I don't want to deflate my son. I don't want to curb his enthusiasm. I don't want to be that person. And I was that person. And it's icky. Now, I'm sharing this with you knowing that this little shame, this little thing, may pale in comparison to a lot of other shames that I have experienced, a lot of regrets that I hold, and maybe a lot of shames and regrets that you hold. And I can get into all kinds of comparative warfare with that. But the point is if I whittle it down, if I peel it down, shame is shame. And it always means the same thing. It means that I am out of alignment with who I aspire to be. And I have big regrets and I have small ones like this one. And they hurt. So I brought it to the ocean, to the seashore, to this ancient conversation. And shame for me is a very insecure emotional state of being. I'm unstable. And so it's a little bit like being in the waves and being knocked over, or even if I step back closer to the shoreline and the waves come in and I feel the sand being pulled away from my feet. And again, I'm not really on secure ground. The risk of shame is that I can get so unstable that I fall over and I tumble in the waves. And I've even had experiences of shame where I'm tumbling along and someone comes along and tries to help me. But in my shame and in that insecurity, I allow pride to serve as a resistance. So I don't accept somebody else's help. I'm too proud and I'm stuck. So as I practice and as I see myself, and I've been tumbled in waves before, and I've had people come and help me, basically save me from myself, from drowning. And then I can get on more secure ground and really look at what am I doing? How can I work with this? This particular shame and this particular instance with my son was not one of those tumbling scenarios, but it definitely made me wobble. It definitely made me a little insecure. And so what I did was I put myself a few steps back onto more hard packed sand where I could find some stability and I could turn that shame, that regrettable situation into regret, something that I could work with and use as a motivation to do something different, to engage and act and effort in a way that realigned me with my aspiration. So that's what I did. I took out all those frickin' decorations, people. I spent 30 minutes untangling Christmas lights. Oh my God, I scratched myself on those stupid artificial things on and oh, batteries. I can't even tell you how many batteries I replaced. I did it. I started it. And I know my son is going to come home from work this afternoon and he's going to see my effort and he's going to be so happy. And friends, why that matters to me is because this is the mutuality of love. Love is to create the conditions for someone's well-being and happiness. My son does that for me all the time. All the time. And this is something that I could do for my son. I could create the conditions for his happiness because I love him and he loves me. And engaging in that kind of action and working with that regret in that way is a step toward healing those deeper regrets, those deeper experiences of shame that are way more tender to visit, way more difficult to hold. But knowing that I'm doing something that realigns me with my aspirations gives me courage, gives me solidity, gives me confidence to go into those waters that are a little bit more insecure, a little bit more tumultuous, and to trust that I won't be knocked over. And even if I am, I can trust that there will likely be somebody to help me. I can also trust that I have the skills and the tools to continue to help myself. This is how I work with the emotion of shame. using the earth and the landscape of the sea. Find your happy place. Identify the conditions that bring you to that emotion and see if there are other teachers that will reveal your own wisdom. Take your time. Give yourself space. This is a practice. All righty, friend. Go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. All righty, friends. We're going to continue exploring the elements of earth, air, fire, water, space, mystery as a way of looking at ourselves, looking at the ways we're bent, broken, flawless, pristine, exploring texture and color, brightness and shadow. There's so many ways that we can use the elements as mirrors for our own well-being, and the way that we have inflated and exaggerated and distorted stories that we harbor about ourselves and one another. So may you take in this beautiful idea. May you take it into your mind and heart, and may it bring a sense of ease and peace. May you get clear on your aspirations. And may your efforts to achieve those aspirations come with beauty and awe and rest. May you take the merit of this practice and radiate it in your presence. You never know. The goodness of you, the beauty of you, might just save a life. Have a beautiful day, friends. We'll see you next time. Namaste.